Boy gets pencil stuck in ear, doctor pulls out something much worse. While playing, this young boy never thought how threatening it would be if the pencil that he was planning to put in his ear would get stuck. This isn't new, as many children tend to commit such actions. For them, not only is ear the target, but few even try to put things in eyes and nose as well. The only reason for such actions are, when they are growing they are curious by nature and want to learn about the world as much as they can with their little experiments. This boy was named Louis King, and he was not a toddler. When he told his grandmother what he had done to his grandmother, she was astonished. Usually children below 4 are prone to such actions. However, in this case it turned out that kids above 4 can also be used to such actions. The most common item that shoves inside the ear or nose is food items. Watermelon seeds, popcorn are very example for this. But Louis chose to experiment with a small stub of pencil. Putting the item in was an easy job, but taking it out seemed like a very difficult task. Louis' mom was at work and his granny Sheila used to look after him at that time. Since the scene didn't seem extraordinary, she tried to ease down the kid herself, but little did she know how things were going to turn out. While looking after a kid, one always realizes that they will be answerable to their parents. This concern heightens the fear even more. When she learned, she was concerned about 2 major things. That was about his grandson and informing their parents. Louis was coloring in his coloring book in his room. He was quiet and was engrossed in his activity deeply. Sometimes the silence of the kids should be considered dangerous as well. Only if the silence would have bothered Sheila, then maybe such a huge accident wouldn't have taken place. She only learned about the tragedy when the 10-year-old grandson complained that his ear was sore. If Louis wouldn't have told her granny even then the repercussions could have been catastrophic. Sheila was trying to peep into his ear, but it was difficult to make out anything. That's when she chose to run towards the emergency room instantly. Louis had already begun crying while Sheila was losing her calm too. She had to hold his wrist to prevent him from hitting his own head, as he wanted the object to dislodge from its place as soon as it could. Soon they were in the hospital and doctors had arrived to check on Louis. Philip Russell was their doctor, and after having a good look at his ears he said that his tools weren't going to cut it, he had to manage more advanced tools. His ear was completely blocked by the pencil. With time Sheila was getting tense and it was hard for the doctors to say anything yet. The pencil was so deep inside that it took a lot of time to reach to it. Eventually the doctor managed in his task. He requested Louis not to move an inch as he tried taking out the piece of graphite stuck in his ear. When the object was taken out from the boy's ear canal, it looked nothing like a pencil and everyone was amazed. Louis asked, "Is that all of it or just part of it?" The doctor responded, "That's all of it, I think." "Yay, that's all of it." But even the doctor was doubtful. So he decided to look into his ear again. When he looked inside again, what he found made the doctor shocked. A tiny and rather round white object was stuck in Dr. Forceps. Louis felt a relief in his head, and everyone else who saw the object were puzzled to look at it. Dr. Russell questioned the young boy, "That happens to look more like a watch battery to me. Are you sure it was pencil?" The boy wasn't sure anymore, so the doctor added that having a pencil lodged inside your ear is dangerous enough, and the risks are obvious. He explained how it would affect him by deep-rooted infection, which could have affected his hearing, balance, coordination, and if such problems are left unattended, one can go deaf too. Doctor also informed, "I can't see your eardrum, which means it's gone. It means you have a hole in it. Nothing that can happen when things like this occur. We don't repair it or anything, it will repair itself," said the doctor. Since he was young, it was only like a skin which grows back naturally. According to Louis, he got the pencil in his ear a week before, and meanwhile he did attempt to remove it, which actually ended up its way deeper. Granny said, "Where he would have got that from and how's it's have in there I do not know." A battery left unchecked could have actually leaked acid, which could have made the situation worse. Doctor further informed, It happens fairly often that kids stick things in their ears and noses. The fact he said it was a pencil and it turned out to be a watch battery, I'll tell you, that's pretty bizarre. But we have seen this thing before. Recently a girl with a runny nose was discovered to have put a clothespin in there. The grandson and the granny had the opportunity to be interviewed by BBC. We hope that by this story he and many kids and adults must have grabbed their lesson and will be careful in future.